All right, another edition of Outlaws Edge is here. Gmac, Zach, and Yak. It's amazing how we pull these nicknames out. Uh, another crazy week of football get upon us. You got any Yankee stuff over there?
Nope.
Yeah, no Yankee stuff. There's no real news going on in baseball now, which is good because it's fucking not baseball season.
Well, I
Uh,
mean, no, I mean, there's some things, right?
uh,
Some people opted for free agency, like Rizzo did
yeah,
not accept. So, I mean, it's not huge, but that's one dude I want to see come back. Like, I like him a lot, and I hope
yeah,
that they can come to a deal because he was excellent. I really want them to work something out with him, and I'm cool with Judge too. We've talked about it in the past, but him saying no, I'm going into free agency kind of worries me a little bit because he's awesome.
Well, I think he opted out of that to get like a 2 or 3 year deal. I would imagine.
Yeah,
Rizzo's
probably. I
just
know.
want a little bit more money at the back end of his career. He's 33.
Yeah.
Plays first base, back injuries. He's just going to want a little bit more money. I could see him signing somewhere 2 years, probably closer to 30, 35 million for the entire contract. But
Yeah,
he just wanted a little bit more money on the back ends.
and I think they're willing to work with him because he's a good first baseman.
Absolutely. Defensively, offensively, I'm going to assume he's going to have an uptick with the band of the shift.
Yeah,
So his power numbers were drastically up because he was pulling everything.
Yeah.
So he's an overall solid first baseman.
yeah. The second baseman played short left field on him,
Yeah.
and he would get out. Yeah, yeah.
So you like the Yankees, Chris?
I do. I'm a Yankee fan and a Jet fan.
Oh, that's odd. Normally, the in my history of knowing people who like the Jets, they like the Mets. You know, because they're just they sound the same. You just got to change the J to an M, and they both typically lose a lot. But I mean, this year, and I think that stems from back when they, where they used to play, right? Like, so, like if you're a hereditary fan, and like your dad or your grandpa like the Mets and the Jets, it's because the Jets they played in the same stadiums, right? Like
I saw the Jets play at Shea Stadium when I was a kid.
Back in the day,
So
that's cool. I mean, you like the Yankees, so yeah, that's the only
argument.
that's the only Yankees news that I saw this week. Other than they Cashman and they continue to talk about how Donaldson has more to show and stuff. Whatever, I don't care. He can't. I don't think he could play much worse. So if you're going to keep paying him and he's going to play, whatever.
I do have a funny thing I saw yesterday. Joey Gallo, threw a no hitter in high school. He threw a no hitter. And then took Greg Maddox's daughter to prom the same night.
Stud.
Yeah.
Did you also see the Yankees' record with Joey Gallo versus without him? With him, they were like 57-20. Without him, they were 29-29.
Yeah. Yeah. He might not have done much, but whatever. They won with him.
Yeah, after the All-Star break, the Yankees kind of really phoned the rest of the season in, I think.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the games they would win with walk-off softball, they were losing. They weren't hitting their fucking softball home runs. I've said it all year since April, man. You're not going to win championships like that. It's just not sustainable against good pitching.
So we're starting early this week because we got a game in Munich, Germany, right? Is this the first time they're playing in Germany? Like they've been in London and Europe. So this is the first Germany game. I don't know what the field is going to be like, the conditions, because they typically play on like a soccer pitch, right? It's probably in a soccer stadium. So depending on what the field is like, it could come into play as to how the game's actually going to unfold. I know we have, NFL refs and things like that.
Yeah.
The fans maybe this is all new. So it's kind of exciting to have this, it's the Seahawks versus the Bucks.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Brady there, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know what you.
So are we still good with you good on your end with the internet? Okay, cool. So Seahawks 6-3, Bucks are 4-5. Bucks coming off of a good win. Like they had a drive towards the end of the game. It was classic Tom Brady marching down the field and scoring at the last second, to win the game. Is that enough to roll? Because since momentum's so big in football and in sports in general, momentum is everything for team sports. Is that enough to roll in and kind of upset the Seahawks here in Germany today?
Well, I think so, because I think the Buccaneers are in a we cannot lose more than like 3 games, or we're out of the playoff picture.
I mean, Seahawks are the underdogs here. The current line is Bucks minus 2.5. So Bucks are expected to win this game by Vegas lines. But does Geno?
I feel like the Seahawks are underdogs every week.
The Seahawks
They are, but
playing above their head. They have zero reason to be this good. Geno Smith is a mediocre quarterback at best. His wide receivers are overrated. Tyler Lockett's one of the most overrated receivers in the league, and so is DK. There's no form of consistency on any of their playing. So the Buccaneers' defense should be able to handle Geno Smith handily, without questions, and their offense should be able to run all over their defense.
So that being said, what do you think about the less than a field goal line? Do you think the Bucks are able to cover that?
Oh, they're going to cover it by 2 scores.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Vegas is usually pretty accurate with their thing. I just think maybe they're just factoring in the travel.
It's possible.
Because I guarantee you, it's not like they're over there for a long time. They're probably over there a day and a half.
Well, no, Seattle left earlier in the week because they have about a 16-hour flight.
Yeah.
Compared to Tampa, which is 6 hours.
Yeah.
So Tampa got there late this week, maybe yesterday or Friday. Seattle got there probably Wednesday or Tuesday. So they've been there for a longer period of time. I just think Tampa Bay cannot lose. That division that they play in is terrible. They're first at 4-6 or 4-5.
Right.
They can't lose. Tom Brady is not going to let them lose.
Well, and that's the bigger. That's where I was going. Is if you lose, like you're 4-5, how many more losses do you got before you're kind of out of the playoff picture?
In that division?
Well, in that division, you could win it at 8 and 10, 8 and 9, I guess. But yeah, I mean they have to stay afloat right now. Like earlier in the year when we were doing our betting, Zach, a lot of times I'd go, "Who's 0-2?" Oh, they're 0-2. Well, this is a must-win game for them because the proof was if you ever went to 0-3, your chances of making the playoffs were it was 95% against you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's a bit of urgency on their part to get back to 500 or whatever.
So you think they can win by 2 scores here? You think the momentum's going to shift? Like the Seahawks overrated, Geno's mediocre. Some sports books will allow you to buy points, right? So currently the line's minus 2.5. If you think they're going to win by 2 scores, 7 to 10, whatever. Yeah. If you move the line, and Barstool I don't know how it is on DraftKings or FanDuel. If I move the line to Bucks minus 7.5, that automatically bumps it up to plus 210. That's double your money. Do you think that's a good bet?
That all day.
All right. I'm not taking it yet, but we'll see. we have 45 minutes until we have an hour and 20 minutes until kickoff, right? It's 9:30 game.
9:30 game?
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll ruminate on that and stew on that because I don't have much action today. So that might be something I might be looking to do because, I mean, yeah, I believe in the momentum. I believe in Tom Brady. So what do you think about his performance so far this year as a fantasy owner? Like having Tom Brady as your quarterback, has it been a big bust?
Yeah, he doesn't get he's not getting the points that he was getting last year. He put up a lot of touchdowns and a lot of yards.
Yeah, this year he has his least amount of touchdowns through 10 games that he's had his entire career. He hasn't done that since 2012 or 2009 or something like that. He's underperforming to his standards, but at the same time,
or the team is.
Yeah, the team as a whole is underperforming. Yeah. So the ground game hasn't been working. Leonard Fournette's been absolutely terrible in efficiency. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. Chris Godwin's coming back off his ACL injury, but he's getting a ton of volume. But they're not scoring points. So what's the issue?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. But go ahead.
I think one of the big issues is I don't want to throw it all on Brady and the joke of him being old and stuff like that. But when you have Mike Evans on like a deep post, no one around him, ball in his hands, drops it. Like, you can't blame Brady for that. His fucking receivers aren't catching his balls either.
That's an uncharacteristic drop of Mike Evans. He's been solid his entire career.
Yeah.
So he was just wide open, and they wound up going on to lose that game. They got blown out that game by the Panthers. I think they scored 3 points.
Yeah. I'd like to see what their red zone efficiency is, because that's probably where more of the issues are.
Yeah.
You're just not getting field goals instead of touchdowns right now.
What's going on with Fournette? Why is he not?
They're trying to work in Rashad White, or I think that's his name anyway. He's backing him up, but now is it really I think it might actually be more of a coaching issue. You saw this type of inefficiency when Bowles was the head coach of the Jets.
Yeah.
It's the same exact team that Arians had, but yet they're not scoring any points. Is it coaching?
Or, I mean, they are older, or we've had this conversation a few times at work this week with different guys. I said, not for nothing. It takes people, you have to have a little bit of something in your belly to, once you get that championship, to go back. Some people, they're satisfied, right? They get satisfied. Yeah. Hey, listen, I got my money and I got my ring. I'm good. Brady doesn't operate like that. He wants to win them all.
Yeah.
So you don't know. It could just be team makeup. The locker room could fall to shit right now.
Yeah, it certainly could have. I mean, Fournette came in and weighing 260 pounds in training camp as a running back.
Right.
He came in out of shape. So some of that lack of production could be attributed to him not being ready for the season. But we're 10 weeks in at this point.
Right, like you should be in shape, football shape now, bro.
If you're not, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who do you think fantasy-wise could be a boom this week in this game? And if people are trying to set their roster this morning before it goes, anybody here to kind of key in on and say, hey, I think this person's going to have a good game, maybe pop them in your flex or whatever. Who do you think?
Mike Evans, Godwin, Kenneth Walker from Seattle. Aside from those names, I honestly don't think there is a chance that the receivers, even though they underperform every week, they could play a little bit better because they're missing the Buccaneers is missing key part of their secondary, I believe. So it is possible, but I don't see Geno getting him the ball.
All right, so possibly like anybody who's listening right now, thinking about today, we're looking Bucks to win by 2 scores or more. That's my take. I don't know what the over under is. It's being in not a primetime slot, 9:30 in the morning in Germany. I don't know what the final's going to be, whether to go off over under, but the Bucs should handle the Seahawks here today and continue to press forward with the momentum moving on from last week. Is that a fair assessment, you think?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay.
I think the Bucs are kind of back on track a little bit.
I would say so.
They beat a formidable opponent last week. It's not like they drove down the field on the final play to beat, like some shit team.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the Rams. They just can't. Who came off a Super Bowl win, but at the same time, the Rams have been pretty much awful as well. They've been underperforming all around. Star players have been underperforming. Stafford, the defense, and Aaron Donald has not been what he has. Jalen Ramsey hasn't been solid, so they're struggling too. The teams we expected to be what they should be haven't been.
Yeah. No, I agree.
For the most part, yeah. I think a lot of people, going into the season, I think the 3 big ones who are still week after week, except for last week, which we'll talk to after this, because we'll go to the questions that we talked pre-show next, because I just wanted to get the 9:30 game out of the way. But I still think that a lot of people heading into the season thought that the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles were going to have the season that they're having. And so, yeah, the Bills got handed their ass last week to the Jets, but they're still doing pretty well. Now, when we get to the Bills game to talk about it, we'll talk more about what this injury means for Josh Allen and them moving forward. But let's talk about last week and what brings us to, I wanted to talk about, what your favorite underdog story is. Last week, it seems like every week there's always some sort of very exciting underdog game. And the Jets are constantly being put in that situation, whether it's versus the Green Bay Packers, the Buffalo Bills. They continue to show up with this like very young team and put it on these units who are like really freaking seasoned and good. You being a Jets fan, what is it like constantly, because I think we're on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think like Cowboys fans are always like, we're gonna win, but then you have that fear every Sunday, like, oh, we're gonna fucking lose. What are we gonna blow today? How are we gonna fuck it up? So, being a Jets fan, you were confident, and a lot of the people like who commented last week were confident, like, no, they're gonna win this game. George and I, we both said they're definitely going to cover. They're home dogs, divisional home dogs. 11.5 points is way too much. And it indeed was way too much because they won. They won, 20-17. So what do you think the biggest factor is in their success? And what do they have to continue to do to make it to the playoffs, to do well going on? Because they're a good team right now.
Yeah, I think their overall success is stemming from their defense. Their defense has been always what has kept them in games, with the exception of the past few years. They've never had an offense that's going to blow you away, but also they're not the same old Jets anymore. It's the mentality in that locker room is we're not going to take that criticism, and they're going to continue to fight against the common narrative that has been put on them forever. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 60 years, what it seems. Yeah. So they're definitely playing a factor into that. They're playing with the chip on their shoulder. So that's going to be what's leading them down this path, is their defense.
Yeah, I agree that the defense definitely helps, right? Because it keeps Zach Wilson on the edge, keeps him on the bench, lets him take sustainable drives. I think him throwing 22 to 24 times a game is what you need.
Yeah, I think that's more than enough. He shouldn't be throwing 40 times a game.
Right.
Not at this stage in his career.
Right. And I think him doing that, the defense keeps the offense rested. If it gets to a point where the defense, you're getting walked up and down the field, I don't think the Jets offense can sustain that.
No.
I don't think they're good enough to get in shootouts.
No, they're not. And that's completely because of quarterback play. Zach Wilson, unfortunately, he's still very raw.
Right.
He has the potential, the arm talent to be a good quarterback, but can he put it all together? Possibly. We'll find out. So it really comes down to
we're going
to find out.
Yeah.
And they've had one of the toughest schedules in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't care about the people saying we've been playing backup quarterbacks. Yeah, but they're still an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
There's a lot of differences between them.
That definitely is. Have you guys seen the stat with Sauce Gardner and who he's covered?
Yes.
And then in man coverage, he's given up 4 receptions for 28 yards.
Yeah.
And they list like everybody. It's like Jamar Chase. He's covered like the top guns of the NFL.
He covers the big names. And even the first play of that game against the Bills where Diggs got that 40-yard reception, that was a zone coverage where safety should have been over the top to stop that.
Right.
Sauce was underneath. But everyone's putting that on Sauce. It was a zone coverage.
Right, it's zone. You're supposed to have top help. Right.
And he had nothing.
Yeah. No, that's what a lot of people that they just watch football and don't understand the scheme or the thing. When you're in man coverage, that's on you. When you're in zone coverage, there's supposed to be safety over the top.
Yeah.
That's not on you. You're only so far. You got like boundary plus 20, not the length of the field. So
they had one of the big things I think that definitely helped their early progression was the rookie Breece Hall, right? Like that kid was having a phenomenal season. Terrible injury. He's done for the season, right? Like is it ACL? Did he ACL?
ACL and meniscus.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's been kind of a big hit, but yet they came back to beat the Bills. And this is my thoughts on the team thus far. They've had a huge bounce back from the previous years with this coach. Is this the coach's second or third year?
Second.
second. So I know like everybody doubted them, and he's got that chip on his shoulder, like you said. Their defense is solid. When they played against the Green Bay Packers, they were all over Rodgers. They swarmed him. The line was excellent. The backer play was good. Defense is what will win you playoffs and championships, but they're still super young, and inexperience in the big game, I think, will come like play more of a role than how well their defense is playing. So I do see them getting to the playoffs, but not going deep. Just because I think big game nerves might really fuck with them. But I think, I'm not a Jets fan, but I kind of want a Sauce Gardner jersey. That kid is awesome. I love to watch him play. So
yeah, he's fun to watch.
I mean, is he a young Darrelle Revis in the making, you think? Could he be a Dion?
I mean, based off his rookie numbers, he's having a statistically better season than Revis did his rookie year.
Yeah.
So, he has the build of I think he's 6'4", but he plays very physical. And he's in your face.
He's not imposing to look at, though. He looks like real thin.
He has super long arms. He covers ground.
Yeah.
And he hits like a truck.
Yeah. But he doesn't look like he's big to hit. You know what I mean?
He looks small. He looks like he plays a lot bigger than he is. Yeah. So it's just his physical stature. He's super lengthy.
The Big Gay says, John Franklin Myers reminds me of a young Chris Winnie.
So you said, Chris, that you I posted the question on the Facebook of what's your favorite underdog story, and you said you put some thought into that. What's your favorite underdog? As the Jets continue to be the underdogs, they're on a bye this week, so they're not going to lose this week. That's good. What's your favorite underdog story?
So I took this as a favorite underdog story of kind of all time, and I actually went in baseball with Josh Hamilton. The Josh Hamilton story is, honestly, it's incredible. He was the first overall draft pick by the Rays in 1999, and he didn't make the majors until 2006 with the Cincinnati Reds. He was suspended indefinitely from baseball, and he fell victim to substance abuse and alcoholism, and all that stemmed from injuries that he suffered in the 99 season. So he was out of baseball for essentially 6 years, battling his personal demons with his alcoholism, his substance abuse, and his life was just a complete mess.
He got in a car accident.
That
here in Fishkill. He was part of the Hudson Valley Renegades.
Yeah.
And it fucked up his back, and he got lit up on perks.
Yeah.
And then it turned into heroin shooting up, and he was in a gutter, basically.
Yeah, he was a drug addict.
And then one of the biggest moments was the home run derby at Yankee Stadium,
where he came back and hit a 500-foot home run. Like, it was probably the longest home run hit in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it hit the fucking facade and off the back wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when he came back to the baseball with the Reds, he played in 2006. He played 90 games, hit 292 with 19 homers and 47 RBIs. Then he got traded to the Rangers, and he went on an absolute tear with the going to LA, where his career fizzled out. Overall story of just when he came back, he had people calling the crackhead in the stands.
Oh yeah,
and he embraced it. He was like, "Yeah, I was a crackhead. This is my story. This is how I came back to what I am now." He didn't hide from the questions of it, and he took it on right to the face. He took it on head on, and he was able to face that adversity of him coming back from his life that was essentially over. And he came back to prominence of being an elite outfielder in that Major League Baseball.
Zach, you have Google up right now?
Yeah.
See if he relapsed.
Hamilton?
Yeah.
Like recently?
Well, because he fell right out of baseball. He had this hot little 2 or 3 year window, and then he kind of went away again just suddenly. And for some reason, I think he relapsed, which would be god-awful.
I don't think he did.
I think they had the Des Bryant rule with him, didn't they? Where they assigned him somebody to keep him out of trouble?
Probably did.
Which would be smart.
In 2015, there's an ESPN post that says Josh Hamilton suffered drug relapse. So I don't know when he left. When he was done.
06, that would have been a long career. He looks like Will Ferrell, too.
Yeah, he does. He does look like Will Ferrell.
I know. I mean, I know. He had a relapse. Like I thought like his wife was leaving. Like he just fucking. You know,
it's pretty common. I mean,
yeah.
Very, very seldom do people who suffer from addiction stay on it forever. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
You know,
especially you go from a gutter with no money to making millions, and that's a different type of attention, right? So you're getting high on, and there's no more cheering, and there's no more thrill, and there's no more whatever.
Yeah, it takes like an active working of some sort of program to stay clean, and it's possible, but it's very tempting. Like once that monkey gets on your back, it's tough to keep it off. You know, like once you get clean. So it's possible, and it's no slight on him if he did relapse. It happens.
It happens.
But as long as he gets back and gets healthy and gets back on the wagon again. So I know we talked about like when you're talking about Herculean kind of stories last week and things like that, and you brought up the 1980 USA hockey team. That's a big underdog story, right? But what I was thinking, what's kind of thought, and I'm not even a Jets fan, but just a history of football fan, and like I always go back to the Joe Namath Jets Super Bowl. Was a Super Bowl III.
Yeah.
Like the Colts had the best defense in football. You know, it was back when there was the NFL and the AFL, right? They hadn't merged at that time in 69. So the AFL was a bunch of like, you're not as good. We're going to steamroll you. You got Johnny Unitas. Like the Colts are this dominant team. And, Namath with his New York, Broadway Joe, his cocky swagger was just like, no, we're going to win, and predicted the win. And the Jets handled them. Like they had a scheme to go into the game. Everybody kind of doubted them. Sports betting, I don't think was as big as it is now or in like, the past couple decades, but,
nationally, you didn't.
But yeah, but one of my favorite football underdog stories is the 1969 Jets in Super Bowl III. I just recently watched, I've been into on ESPN Plus Peyton's Places and looking at the history of the NFL in the past 100 years, and he had a segment with that and Joe Namath, and it was very, very fun to watch. If anybody is into football history, that show is excellent. The first season. Season 2 and season 3 kind of suck so far. Like I started watching and it's not that great, but the first season is phenomenal. So many good stories. Every single episode's worth watching, minus the Elvis episode because Elvis sucks.
And he's still dead.
Yeah, I know Highland's watching.
Hey Zach, have you noticed the chat at all this morning? The guy that never wants to be part of the show, who wants to drop 50 comments,
right?
And my buddy Townsy's watching, and he made a very valid point.
The Jets ain't playing today though. They're on a bye week this week. We got come on, internet. So the Ravens, the Bengals, the Patriots, and the Jets are all on byes this week. So do you want to hop into
let's go right to the star, because that's the big game today. To me, Cowboys Packer game.
All right, we can talk about that.
So when I was young, he's the Packers hurdle. They couldn't get past the Cowboys, and they would come into playoffs. And Brett Favre was a huge Roger Staubach fan, so the Cowboys brought out Roger Staubach for the coin toss and fucking freaked him out. Until they got over that hurdle, till they finally beat the Cowboys, right? Well, the Cowboys' hurdle has been the fucking Packers and Aaron Rodgers. So is this the year that they beat Aaron Rodgers, and even though the Packers are down, they always fucking find a way to beat the Cowboys? Is this the year that like they get that monkey off their back and they can finally? Saying like there's a mental thing. It's in Green Bay. Do they win today? I'm thinking more like, do they finally get the monkey off their back where it makes them better at the end of the year? Like there's just something that always seems to hold them back. Every time they get knocked out of the playoffs, it's Aaron Rodgers with 38 seconds left somehow fucking rolls to his left, throws a piss missile down the field, and they kick a field goal. You know, they got to get this monkey off their back somehow. What do you think, Zach?
My thoughts are, I believe in ghosts at this point. Sports ghosts, not real life ghosts. Sports ghosts. Derek Jeter talks about it all the time.
Yeah.
In The Captain, he has all these stories about, they're in the playoffs, the ghosts come out, and things happen. They're there. Lambeau is a place where the Cowboys are going to go to die. And even though the Packers have lost 5 straight and they're injured, this will be the game where shit happens. Something is going to happen here where the ghost of fucking Vince Lombardi, all these people are going to come over and just swarm the Cowboys. I want the Cowboys to win. I am so nervous about this particular game this week just because the optics of it looks like they should steamroll. They look like they should steamroll the Packers, but the sports books don't think that. They got a 4.5, Cowboys minus 4.5 spread. They think that it's going to be closer than what it should look like on paper. So being in Lambeau, I don't know what the weather's going to be today. It's cold here in Indiana, so I bet it's cold over there too. We had like an inch of snow yesterday out of nowhere. So Green Bay's not too far away, and they got a bunch of, Lake Michigan, lake effect snow or whatever that could happen. Some fluke shit's going to happen, and the ghosts are going to come alive today and make this a game. I hope I get to watch it on my Hulu. I don't know if it'll be blacked out. I want the Cowboys to win. If the Cowboys can stick to their game plan, if they can run the ball, the Packers are so hurt. So many injuries. They got Cobb, Dobbs. Their running back was injured last week. Was it Dillon? I think he's playing. He wasn't questionable, but he was injured last week and at the beginning of the week questionable. Jones. There you go. Sorry, Jones. So the Cowboys defense has played so well. They're coming off a bye week too, right? Cowboys bye last week.
Yeah. And Zeke is back healthy.
Yeah, so they got fresh legs. They should handle them, but I'm worried because the ghosts are real. And I think that some fluke shit's going to happen.
I think Highland makes a very good point. Could go from a steamroll to a Cleveland steamer if Dak has one of his days. Because Dak does dumb shit early in games that just cost you. You're down 20-0 because he threw a pick six, or on a 3rd and 3 overthrows a receiver that could have kept the drive going. Like, these are the things that happen with this guy. He's like fucking game management. He crucial drives, he'll throw the ball into the dirt on a routine play. That should be like, okay, we're making a first down, and he throws it at the guy's feet with no pressure, or somebody's wide open and he tries to force the ball somewhere. So I do think that. I think that's a very accurate statement from Highland, that if Dak has one of his bullshit games where he tries to do too much, they're in a lot of trouble. See, now I feel like a Jets fan.
I think highlights from this game, though, like for fantasy wise, I think Allen Lazard is going to have a big game. I think CeeDee Lamb will probably do well, but Tony Pollard not as well, with Zeke being back and sharing snaps. So if I'm going to play anybody, I'm playing Allen Lazard if I got him as a receiver, or even if I have a chance to flex him. And then CeeDee Lamb is always decent, right? He's in his second year. He's a good receiver. Yeah. He's only getting better. I like those guys. As far as the quarterbacks, I don't like either of them. I got rid of Dak a while ago as my backup, and Rodgers is just not. He doesn't have that many targets to really throw to at this point. You gotta get it into short yardage plays for Tunyon, or get lucky and have Lazard get open, because that's all they really have to cover at this point, right? Everybody else is injured.
Yeah, I mean, just attack the middle of the field.
Does Trayvon Diggs shadow people?
He's very so he's a nah, not really. I mean they've used them the shadow guys, but they're more like it's weird because they run like a zone man type weird thing at times.
Because if Diggs shadows Lazard, I expect nothing from Lazard this entire game. But if they're going to play instead of once, Lazard could have a decent day.
Yeah, it's going to come on Parsons and Tank Lawrence and really get the job done up front and put Rodgers under pressure.
Yeah, I think Parsons will do just that, and Lawrence, I think, is overrated. He's lazy. He doesn't actually put effort into his game.
Not only when it's contract
year, then he'll have an awesome season.
Yep.
He got paid
Parsons,
last season, so nothing.
Parsons is so fucking good again, man. He's so fast. His defense, his football IQ is so good, and he's quick. Like I've seen him blow into the backfield and then run 10 yards to catch up to the running back at full steam and take him down. Like he's quick. He's so good. He's a monster on the field. And if he stays healthy, like I really think on paper, the Cowboys should handle the Packers with how the Packers have been playing. But I'm still worried. I got them -4.5. Just I know I should never bet the fucking Cowboys, but I do. Yeah. You don't bet your favorite team, man. You try to not bet your favorite team because if they lose,
I do when they win money, when I bet them.
I know, but when they lose, well, you're a lifetime fucking fan. But if you have a team, they lose a big game and then you lose a big money, you hate them twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never bet the Jets ever.
Yeah.
That's one of the big, betting superstitions a lot of people have. All right, so we talked about the Cowboys. Let's run through the 1:00 games real quick because I know you guys got to bounce early. Chris has got to go get some help his friend move some sex toys or something. 1:00, we got Vikings at the Bills. 7-1 Vikings playing at the Bills. 6-2. Bills coming off a loss to the Jets last week. Josh Allen questionable with a torn UCL, ulnar collateral ligament, right? The elbow, kind of like the ACL of the. Yeah, there you go. Kind of like the ACL of the fucking of the elbow, right? So that's his throwing arm. Even if he's questionable and he's healthy to play, is he going to be able to produce? Their backfield's not amazing.
They're going to activate him?
He's going to be active today. I saw it on ESPN this morning. All hands down, even as the dog, fighting the Bills today.
Yeah. Well, listen, the Bills over the last couple of years tend to have these couple dips in their season that cost them like home field.
Yeah.
And this might be one of those dips where they lose back-to-back games.
If Josh Allen can't be Josh Allen, the Bills are done.
Yeah.
In Case Keenum is not going to win the AFC East. It's not happening.
Josh Allen could still be Josh Allen, just not with the throwing. His legs ain't hurt. He could still scramble and run, can he not?
He could still scramble and run, but they're going to be able to contain defense. It's pretty solid.
Yeah, and not for nothing, if the Cowboys don't win Super Bowl, I kind of go. I want the Bills. My buddy John, you know what I mean. Like you guys, but it is. Yeah. But you know what I mean. But I like Josh Allen. But I say all that to say this: I want to see what happens with Kirk Cousins on the plane this week if they win. Did you see the thing with him with the chains and all the shit? That's awesome.
Yeah,
and he goes,
and then
takes on a bigger thing and bigger.
And then Monday night, Adam Schefter was like dressed up as him. He had his shirt off with a big gold chain and he was dancing. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So I think the Vikings are 6.5 point underdogs here. I would definitely take that.
I would take them to cover that.
The money line's plus 215.
You're taking them to win.
I would take the money line.
Chris,
so
the money line.
I think that's a good bet if. There's some if things that play into that. So, yeah, we think that Allen's not going to be able to really go deep down the field to Diggs. Like, or Gabe Davis. Those things are kind of up in the air, like whether his elbow's going to be able to handle that. I think he still could potentially scramble. But the other thing is, don't they have Hines that they acquired from the Colts that's had 2 weeks now to learn the playbook. So I know Singletary's not a monster back, but Hines was good. Like he handled some good snaps, had some good runs when Taylor was hurt. So if they have a run game that can produce a little bit, they may be able to control some clock and keep it close at least. That's my worry about the money line.
In Buffalo today.
What's that?
Calling for snow in Buffalo today.
I think it really depends on what they do.
If that's the case, I would think that the Bills can hold serve.
I do like
down the field, snow or rain.
I do like the Vikings plus 6.5, but the money line, that's an iffy one. Like for me, just based on I don't know how the backfield's going to play in the Bills. Like who's going to get the snaps to rush and how that's going to look with clock control. So, but it's not primetime Kirk Cousins either. Primetime Kirk sucks. 1 o'clock Kirk is a superstar. So you got that going for you for the money line bet also. And then you also got, Justin Jefferson, who's like one of the best receivers in the game. So I may sway on that. I like as we get closer to game time, I may take that money line, but I definitely take plus 6.5. I think the Vikings definitely cover. This is the Jets Bills last week where I'm like 11.5 they cover, but I wasn't sure about the money line. Maybe I should listen to my gut and go with the Vikings on you there. All right, so that's that game. Anybody big in fantasy? Would you sit Josh Allen if he's your quarterback?
I would because listen. Saying he's going to play and running him out there doesn't mean he's going to play like Josh Allen plays. Yeah. Like they might just be doing that to not lead on how hurt he is, because how you game plan for them with Josh Allen versus Case Keenum Highland, you got a Google machine in your hand, but you keep asking a dumb question over here, is completely different. You would game plan completely different if you knew Josh Allen wasn't in.
Yeah.
So, like, of course, some gamesmanship, and they're probably not going to play. Not going to, you know what I mean? So I would sit him in fantasy this week just in case.
Yeah, I'd give him a week. But Carson Palmer had the same injury dating back many years ago at this point. Never had it fixed, and he had a very solid career.
Yeah.
Especially once he got out of Oakland.
Didn't Matt Stafford have both of them already?
He had an elbow
this
issue.
year.
He had an elbow issue. I don't know if it was that in particular, but he had elbow issues. But look at how he's played this entire season. Not good.
Yeah. So I think the other thing going for the Bills, their 2 losses come from
showed up on here.
come from divisional games, right? They lost to the Jets and they lost to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yes. So they're 0-2 in their division. Vikings are not in their division. They got that going for them. So, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not a quarterback. I don't know how intensive the elbow is to the throw, if it's more shoulder, whatnot. I don't know. I throw baseballs, not footballs. I long snapped, but no. So anyway, I like Vikings plus 6.5. I like Vikings plus 6.5. Chris likes the money line. Next 1 o'clock game, big divisional game. 2-6 Lions at the 3-6 Bears.
Bears.
Bears. Oh, that was an awesome episode. Did you see the Peyton's Place with the Bears? You got to watch that one where he goes into the beer and comes out with the mustache. That's fucking hilarious. Let me see what the line is real quick on that one. So Bears -3. Bears offense has been producing. They had a great game against the Cowboys, but the Cowboys blew their defense away, right? It was like 49-26. They're starting to get better on offense. The Lions not playing at home. Lions score a lot of points at home. Oh, Lions in a walk. No, without Hockenson.
His heat seeker son is on here already. Now he's saying Lions in a walk over the Bears. Now, I like Max Highland.
I like the Bears -3 here, but I think the most lucrative for me is the over-under of 48.5. Both defenses suck ass. I think they blow that away. Weather permitting, I think over 48.5 happens.
It's in Chicago?
In Chicago.
Well, Lions, you said you had snow there yesterday, so we'll check the weather, but I don't know.
Their defense is like a JV high school football on both of them in the NFL. I think they are able to score whether they're running or passing. Fields will still I mean, he's putting in
No
yards
rain,
on his feet.
30s in Chicago.
Yeah. Hard field.
Yeah.
Might not have as much give or whatever, but I think over 48.5 on that one is my favorite bet, but I like the Bears to win.
The Bears just trade for a receiver.
Yeah, Chase Claypool.
Yeah, so I mean, I think you may. I think definitely the Bears. I think the Bears.
Ditka. All right. Shit. Where was I have 3 tabs open. All right. So here's one that I have a bet on today that I actually am frightened to death of. 1 o'clock, we got the 3-6 Jacksonville Jaguars at the 6-2 Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs win here. They're in Arrowhead. It's at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're gonna win. But the line was like 10. It's coming down because a lot of people a lot of the public is expecting Jacksonville to cover. I got in on Jacksonville plus 9.5. Chiefs at home are not good at covering the spread. They haven't been this year. And 9.5 points, even though it's not
a lot of points, man. Even though it is Jacksonville.
Travis Etienne has been a absolute workhorse fantasy-wise. Like, that dude puts numbers up in the 30s every week in our league, right? Since, like, for the past 4 weeks. The video game character, Trevor Lawrence, probably going to throw a bunch of interceptions. But if they keep the ball on the ground, if they run with ATN and control the clock, I think it'll be closer than a lot of people expect, because you expect the Chiefs to blow this team away. They're 3-6. They started their season very well, but they played like ass since. Like, they lost to the Colts. The Colts
last
week? Horrible. No.
That was like week 2.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Chiefs even plus minus 9.5.
Yeah.
I don't think Jacksonville's going to be able to contain that offense at all.
Shut up.
Who did the Chiefs beat? Who did the Chiefs beat last week? It was a Sunday night game or Monday night game. Was it the
Sunday night?
Was it the Titans?
Yes, that was a
really good game, right?
Yeah.
Really good game. Yeah.
Yeah, 17-20. The Titans are good though. Yeah. Jacksonville sucks.
Yeah, well, I definitely think like they're gonna win. 9.5. I don't know.
I'm fading the public here. A lot of people are going for the Chiefs. I'm just going for where the value is, I think, for me. I know this is one of those things, like I said, on paper, the Chiefs should blow them away. Jacksonville sucks. But I'm just going to fade the public here. I'm not throwing a big bet on it. Just single unit plus 9.5 to cover. I like ATN. If I had him on my team, I would start him every fucking week. He's really good. But I got Mahomes too, so I want Mahomes. Yeah. I want Mahomes to go off as well. So, all right. So that's what I got there. The next one, 1 o'clock, we got the 3-5 Browns at the 6-3 Dolphins. They're playing in Miami.
Yeah, I always take. So this is funny for me. Like, any cold weather area team that goes to Miami later in the season, like November, December, I always take the Dolphins. Because practicing in 40s and 50s all week does not do anything for you when you go to 80 plus. You know what I mean? It's 80 plus degrees out and you're cramping. So I'll take the Dolphins there.
Dolphins are minus 3.5.
I pick them to cover.
How are the Dolphins versus the run, though? Is Chubb healthy?
The Dolphins' defense gives up so many points. But the Dolphins should be able to handle this. The Browns' defense isn't going to be able to contain them.
Right, and the Browns really are playing for 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Because then they get a real quarterback.
Yeah, they get Deshaun Watson back week 12, is it?
Yeah.
Against the Texans.
Right, and it's week, 10 now?
Yeah, so 2 more weeks. Deshaun will be back. It'll be a different team on offense. But then again, Deshaun hasn't played football now in almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some rust. But anything's a upgrade over Jacoby Brissett.
I can tell you one thing: no rust on it. What's over on that game? What's
49? 49, and I like that also.
I would go there. I'd go the over.
I'd take over.
I think I like the 49 over more than minus 3.5, just because I don't know how much clock they're going to chew up running the ball as the Browns.
Yeah,
but It doesn't really matter, like, because with Waddle, Gesicki, Hill, Mostert, and now they got Jeff Wilson. Like their offense is so powerful. Their defense sucks ass. Like they were down 14-0 to the Lions in like 2 minutes when they played the Lions 2 weeks ago. Their defense is terrible, but their offense just puts so many points on the board. So I like the over there. I don't think they'll be able to control the clock that much as the Browns, but I do think they'll score. So if they're scoring, it's going back and forth. Their coach, the Dolphins coach, is very aggressive. He never, ever, ever punts. I don't know why they have a punter on the freaking squad. He takes up a roster slot. They go for it on 4th and 30. I like the over there big time. All right, next one we're still in the 1 o'clock. So we got 3 more 1 o'clock games. Texans at the Giants.
I like the Giants. Whatever.
I like
Giants to win.
The line is Giant.
I'm just going straight. I like the Giants to win.
I'm taking Texans money line. I also think they're going to cover it, obviously, since they're going to win. But Texans.
What about the Texans wins here? Just their running back?
So Dameon Pierce is also going to take the over on his yardage, which is 81.5 on DraftKings. But they were able to keep pace with the Eagles that entire Thursday night game last week. The Eagles are a much better team offensively and defensively. I'm going to take the Texans all day.
I just like I think Giants are just tough. If Giants win by hanging around, if the game's reachable with like 5 minutes to go, Giants are going to win. They do. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense, but they do right now.
If they win, it's going to be because of a defensive score, not because of Daniel Jones doing anything.
You're a Daniel Jones hater. This dude earned a contract.
He has not.
He has nothing around him, bro. He has you blocking for
him,
bro.
That's fine. He's earned nothing.
He's earned a contract.
He's earned nothing.
100%. He's earned a contract.
Earned nothing.
Yeah, I took a big chance here. We were discussing, me and my coworker. I was talking about because her quarterback's on a bye, so she said, should I take Mariota or Jones? And I was like, I think I like Jones more than Mariota. I hope he scores more than Mariota did. So he has nobody to throw to. That's the biggest thing. But he can produce on his feet and he can run. I take the Saquon over rushing yards in this one. I think it's like 92.5. It's going to be a big rushing game, I think, for both Pierce and Saquon. And if that's the case, the under is 41. So if it's going to be a lot of clock control, a lot of rushing and marching down the field, that could be lucrative too. I don't love the Texans money line, but I kind of like them to cover the 5 at least. I think that's possible. But if you want to just it's called gambling for a reason. If you want to take a gamble, it's any given Sunday. Yeah. Any team can win. You're almost at double your money odds there if you take the Texans to win. I don't know. I think I love Saquon Barkley.
No, honestly, they're playing above their head. I don't think be a team that's going to be able to compete. I don't think Daniel Jones is the answer back to them. Outside of his rushing ability, I don't think he has the capability to throw the ball. Yes, he has 0 wide receivers. That does not help him. Their defense is not as good as they've been playing. I think way above what they should be, in my opinion.
Who they lost just recently, right? Not they were on a bye. Now they're coming off a bye too. That's big.
The Texans also played last Thursday. It's 10 days rest.
Yeah,
it's basically a bye.
Yeah, I mean, this is sometimes where you work on stuff, find your idea better. So who knows? Maybe I don't know. They play the game. I just like the Giants here. Texans aren't that good.
Giants lost to the Seahawks in week 8, 13-27 in Seattle.
Yeah, and listen, the NFL, everything's on tape. So if somebody finds something, they're going to just exploit it. That's the recipe, is the blueprint out now on how to keep the Giants, at bay.
We'll see.
Stop Saquon. Let's tell you, keep the Giants at bay.
Well, that's it. You
that's the other thing I worry. I know we were going to like. There's a lot we're talking about with the games today, and we were going to talk about running backs, but Saquon is one of those where New York doesn't really have a running back committee. So if he's injured, they're fucked. Like they don't have anybody where they share snaps and stuff. He gets a lot of the snaps. So whether he's in there a lot of the time. So they do have another running back that gets in sometimes, but Saquon plays the majority of them. So if he gets injured, that's it. That's their offense because they have nobody to throw to. So next we got 2 more 1:00 games. We got the 3-6 Saints playing at the 2-6 Steelers. Kamara's out, right? He's out this week.
Alvin Kamara. Chris is taking a look right now.
I got my injury report open right here. No, is it Kamara? No, Mark Ingram is out. Mark Ingram's out.
Doesn't matter for about 5 years.
But look at how bad the Saints' offensive line is hurt. They got one of their guards, their center.
Yeah, it's brutal. And who? It's Saints and who? Bengals?
Steelers.
Oh, I like the Steelers.
I'm going to take the Saints.
I'm going to take the under. If it's under 10, I'm taking the under. Saints, it's basically like a pick 'em right now. You got which means they don't know who's going to win. The Saints are a half a point favored to win, so it's very close. Whether you take the money line's -109 for the Saints, -110 for the Steelers. The under is 40.
That's really a pick.
Yeah, it's basically a pick 'em.
I take the under.
I like the under.
I take the under, but I like the Steelers there.
I like the under and I like the Steelers. Just Steelers at home. Saints at home are a completely different team with their defense. On the road. So they still got Andy Dalton is their quarterback?
Yes.
I don't really like that guy. His orange mustache really creeps me the fuck out. He's got like the Burt Reynolds mustache, but it's gingered. So it's all like he looks like if Ronald McDonald was a porn star in the 70s.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
All right. Not a fun game to watch. I don't really care as far as I don't have anybody on my teams for fantasy for either of those teams. So I don't know if you guys do. I don't know who to pick there and who to throw up. That game makes me want to throw up.
Team,
What's that?
So that was on my fantasy.
You don't.
Team.
You leave people in on your buy and shit. I gotta text you on Sunday morning and be like, do you really want to leave fucking your quarterback sitting?
I don't fucking know.
Jeez. All right. So last 1 o'clock game.
I like college football now. So outside of the Cowboys, I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
Last 1 o'clock game, we got the 3-5 Let's Ride Broncos country coming into the 5-3 Titans.
Titans.
Just you just throwing money line on that? What's
I think here's okay. So I'm gonna have a hot take here. I mean, and maybe it's not. We found out that system and Russell Wilson was overrated because Pete Carroll's winning with Geno fucking Smith, and Russell Wilson is dog shit.
He's washed.
I'm just saying, he's not that old to be washed.
Yeah, he's 33.
Yeah,
34.
but still, I mean,
how old's Tom Brady?
People complain in their mid to late 30s, but with basically everybody else's throwaway, the Seahawks are 5-3.
Yeah, I think Highland actually has a
decent got a
point
very
here.
Awesome point right here.
Yeah, I think that's
the Brokeback Broncos are radiator hosed by Henry.
That's the story of this. So the Broncos defense is what's been keeping them in any games right now, right? The Broncos defense is pretty good as far as where their rating is in the NFL. Titans minus 2.5. You're giving Titans a field goal, and you got King Henry running the rock. That dude is phenomenal. Like, he is going to blow holes in their defense. I like the Titans minus 2.5. Over-under's 39. That's a close one. I don't want to touch that one. I think it'll probably be close to that.
I think with the Titans, I like because they win like 17-10.
Yeah. I'm looking right now. Out is Bud Dupree, Simmons, Cunningham, Amani Hooker, Thompson. He's questionable, Tannehill. I don't know if he's going to play or not. I don't know what his last practice was. I'd have to look on ESPN.
Still going to be running through Derrick Henry regardless of who's playing.
Yeah.
I go 27-10.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I think the under's more likely, but 39 is still scary for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the last 1 o'clock games. Let's roll through the 4 o'clocks. Where are we at here? 4:05. We got the horrible 3-5-1 Indianapolis Colts at the horrible 2-6 Raiders. Now, here's the thing.
Raiders out.
Fuck off. No. Derek Carr is terrible. He's terrible. We got Jeff Saturday coming in as interim coach. And what do we know about Jeff Saturday? He loves to run the fucking football.
Peyton Manning fondled his nuts for 10 years.
That's also true. He loves to run the football. He's a center. He's but like, I believe what everybody's question, like, why would you come in, not make the defensive coordinator? And he had the best statement, I think, to the press. He says, I've been in the playoffs 14 times. I've played with many people who are in the Hall of Fame. I know the game. I've seen how winning teams are coached, how they run their front office. Like, I may suck at this, but I may be great. I know how to win football games. And I think that's true. And he loves to run the football, which so far, they really haven't run as well as they have. Like, Taylor's been injured. He's had this nagging ankle injury for so long. But even if he's out, their backups aren't terrible. They just acquired Zach Moss, right? So they got him did they get him from Miami?
Yeah.
I forget. Or Miami or Buffalo. I don't know. So they got Zach Moss, and they got that other dude who played last week. But the other thing is they're playing in Vegas, so should be warm, which is, I don't know, how is that for an ankle injury? It might be
stadium.
It's indoor stadium, but it's grass, and grass has way more give and is better for it gives. You have a lot more injuries, non-contact injuries on turf. Like when we talked with Jern about the turf and Tua that week, you have a lot more non-contact injuries. It's a lot more dangerous for your knees, your ankles, your hips, all those things on turf, just because it doesn't have that give. So a lot of things are in the corner of Jonathan Taylor playing today and not being susceptible to this injury. If they tape it up and he's able to run, and Saturday's going to run the ball, I think they can beat the Raiders, because the Raiders are fucking terrible. They're awful. Ellinger is not bad either. Like, he pissed me off because he lost me money by not throwing an interception in his first game. But, they got Pittman Jr., that Pierce kid. They got targets to throw to. They just haven't been able to put it together with the game plan they had under Frank Reich. Hopefully Saturday comes in here, revamps, inspires, invigorates this Colts team to the team that they were supposed to be at the start of the season, because no one thought they would be 3-5-1 at this point.
Well, what happened to their
Taylor,
line? Their line was supposed to be the best in football, and it just fucking collapsed. Now, maybe Jeff Saturday inspires the line, but I know he's 3-5 as a high school coach. So, I mean, now this is the NFL, which means not for long if he fucking comes out and lays an egg.
Jeff Saturday was also like the head of the Players Association while he was playing, right? Like, he was the president. He knows how to deal with players. He has good interpersonal relationships with people. I think he's going to be better than a lot of people expect. I hope he is. He has dreamy eyes too. Have you seen that man's eyes? They're like electric blue. I just want the camera to zoom in and just watch. I want to watch him just call plays the whole game. Anyway, so you fucking chuckle fucks want to take the Raiders. I'm taking the Colts money line and to cover.
Sometimes
they're playing in
like
Vegas.
A whole like McDaniels there, Josh McDaniels. You come into something not lined up the way you want it, and it takes time to get the pieces to where you need them.
I mean, every head coach come from Bill Belichick's system has failed. So
yeah,
Josh McDaniels has failed twice already as a head coach. He's not going to stay in Vegas.
He didn't have a bad run to start when he went to Denver. Remember, he started like 6-0. Remember when he went to Denver?
Until John Elway got involved and got rid of Tebow.
Right? So he had a great start to his first gig. Yeah. I do remember that much when I wasn't watching football. All right. So we already talked about the other 4:00 game, which is the Cowboys-Packers. The last one is the 3-6 Cardinals at the 3-5 Los Angeles Rams. Cardinals are pretty banged up. They have, I think, more injuries than the Packers right now. Kyler Murray was questionable. I don't know who their backup is, even though they have D-Hop and was it Ron? Who's the other? The Moore guy.
Yeah, Moore.
Yeah, they have good weapons, but I don't know how their backup is if Kyler Murray sits. I know George hates Kyler Murray, so
yeah. I wanted a side note on this. So in the what is it? Hard Knocks in season starts. I wonder how they're gonna cover Kyler Murray and Kingsbury. Because if I'm that guy, get rid of that little motherfucker. Get out of here. Send the little fucking teddy bear somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel that like it's sustainable with a guy like that as your quarterback. He's like 5'8", bro. And he's like dealing with like a fucking wildly athletic teenager. He's emotionally like he kind of reminds me of a way lesser version of Vince Young. Remember, he was a mental midget, had a decent career, but it was always these like he's got the mental like the wine bag, and you can't.
Yeah. Do you think his relationship with his coach is that much worse than Rodgers and LaFleur?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or do you think that
Rodgers and LaFleur are right? I just think it's
or is Rodgers just right? Or is Rodgers just mature and doesn't show it on the field? Because I've never seen like him be that shitty towards anybody. He's very passive aggressive. He's done a lot of ayahuasca and everything's just fine. But he's gotten into some heated debates with LaFleur on the sideline. I bet behind closed doors and behind the cameras, I bet they're going off on each other weekly. And that's a big reason.
Like to go side note there, they're both because administration there got rid of Vontae Adams, thinking they were we got this guy who's has the equal talents and at half the price. No, you don't. When you Vontae Wish.com version because it just doesn't work.
The line on the Rams
happens away and kill them.
The line on the Rams Cardinals is Rams minus 2.5. I like Rams minus 2.5 here, and even more if Murray doesn't play.
Rams are at home, right?
Yeah. Who's the running back on the? Is it Eno Benjamin still playing for the Cardinals? Is that who their running back is?
James Conner's back. Actually, Zach, could you check to see if Matt Stafford's still in concussion protocol?
He was questionable this morning with concussion. I don't know if he's cleared yet. I can check on ESPN to see because the thing I look on an NFL just gives the injury. It doesn't give the reports like our fantasy does. I'll take a look real quick if
he's playing or not.
Yeah. I'll check into that, and you guys can talk about Sunday night game is the Chargers at the 49ers.
It's going to be a 49ers victory. They're just so hurt. They're missing their 2 star wideouts in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. And if you watched the game all last week, Herbert was throwing the ball all over the place, and receivers were it was hitting them in the face, and then dropping it for a pick. They had stone hands.
The Niners D is good too.
It is good. The game's going to be running through Austin Eckler for the Chargers again, which is fine. Give him the ball and just let him.
If I'm the 49ers, though, I just key on him because I'm not worried about getting beat down the field because, like you said, the Chargers are banged up. So you're going to get pressure. You know what I mean? And on top of pressure, if you that would be my defensive scheme would be to stop Eckler. That would be it. Like you said, it's hitting him in the face masks and everything else. So I would aim to hit him to like 60 yards or less.
But Eckler's also the dual threat back where he can rush or he's going to get into the receiving game, which he has been. So later on in the show, we'll go into it more. But I have Eckler. Honestly, it's just impressive.
Yeah, he's a dude.
Yeah, but you're also getting the same exact thing, only better with the 49ers and Christian McCaffrey. So they foil. I say that if anything, Debo's back.
Yeah. Well, now you have to do with that.
And Matthew Stafford.
On one
Matthew Stafford, as of last night at 10 p.m., was listed as questionable and not likely to play. He hasn't been ruled out officially yet, but concussion protocol sounds like he's not going to play.
Who's the backup there?
I don't know, but if Stafford's out, give me the Cardinals.
Yeah. I say the same thing because I don't know who the back.
Yeah, they have no running back. The Rams have no running back at all, right?
Yeah, they have
to even give the ball to.
They just don't play.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big bust this year too. Was it's you have Austin Eckler, Akers.
Is back, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't really seen much play though.
Yeah, he got 0 fucking points like for the first 5 games of the year. He had nothing. I had him as my fantasy run for 1 or 2 weeks. He gave me,
which I was fucking shocked about because Stafford started the season with an injured elbow. I thought they would run way more, and they just didn't. But anyway, so Stafford's probably not going to play. Yeah, but how are you going to get the ball to him if you got fucking your arm in a sling? You need Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, he's done it.
Is he going to punt it to him? All right. So anyway, 49ers. We'll talk about running backs here in a moment. We'll end the show on the running back question and topic. But that one, I like the 49ers as well. I think they steamroll. Let me look at the odds real quick. It is a primetime game. Primetimes traditionally go under 45.5. This one could potentially go over. I think this is the one that flukes. I think they both can put on a lot of points. You know, if McCaffrey is running the ball, catching the ball, throwing the ball, 49ers can put up a lot of points, and Chargers can too. So even though they're banged up and they're hurt, I think Chargers are still capable if you feed Austin Eckler and he breaks long runs. So I like that. But the Niners are -7.5. Do you still think the Niners cover?
Yeah.
All right. Last game.
What's the Monday?
This is my upset, and Matt Russell, who hasn't said anything today, will actually like my answer. Will like my answer. It's the Commanders and the Eagles. I think the Commanders are going to win. I think that's the upset.
At Eagles or at Washington?
They're at the Eagles. It's at Eagles. 4-5 Commanders at the 8-0 Eagles. Yes. It's a divisional game. The Commanders are getting better and better each week. I think the Eagles overlooked this team. They had a really Chris talked about how the Titans played the Eagles so well on was it Titans? No, it was the Texans. Was it the Texans they played on Thursday night? And they played them.
Yeah, they almost beat them. Like at one point you thought they might be.
Yeah, going into halftime, it was tie or like a 3-point game. I don't think they played well. I think the Eagles played like shit. I think the Eagles are just kind of like rolling. They have the better team on paper. It's a Monday night game. I think this is the upset of the week. I like the Commanders here. Don't ask me why. I'm not going to give you any fucking information. I just think that the upset's going to happen. It's something about it. Just like, back in the day when I liked the Redskins, you liked the Cowboys, they always traded 1-1. They're divisional rival teams. I think the Eagles are too good and the Commanders are overlooked that they're going to look past them and it's going to be a game. I hope. I don't want the Eagles to be the spread, probably 15. Who knows? Let me see.
I don't think the Eagles run in the table.
11.
And they're going to have a...
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles.
You think the Commanders even cover? You like the Eagles minus 11?
Eagles minus 11.
I hope Sauce gets an ACL injury today. He's not playing.
He's such a dick.
He's not playing today. So I hope he gets an ACL injury playing basketball or something. Yeah, I don't know. Something about this, it's a feeling. It's one of those feelings where it doesn't make any sense, but I like it. It happens. You get those in sports. You get those feelings. It's a gut feeling.
But you need those moments. You don't need...
This is we're playing, and I want to put the kid who's never caught a ball in his life out in right field just because I feel something's going to happen. He's going to be Casey at bat or something. I don't know. I really like, I still don't like the Commanders anymore. I have not liked them. I will never go back to them. But I like is it Heineke? Is how you pronounce it? I like their quarterback that they have in for.
Yeah.
Yes, I like him, and I think with McLaurin and I don't know, they're better than they've played. They played the Packers very well, which the Packers have sucked. I know. They played the Colts very well, which the Colts have sucked. I know, but it's good confidence boosting for this quarterback to go in and beat teams like this because I just beat the Packers. So I don't know. I think he's getting better and better each week. I don't
doubt that kid. He had Tom Brady on the ropes, cut off of the fucking off the sidelines. He was bagging groceries, came in and had Tom Brady on the ropes when they went on their Super Bowl run with the Bucs.
So
Heineke's
I don't know.
A tough bro. I don't know. I paid Heineke over. Carson is washed up. Just get rid of that guy.
You should be playing Heineke.
Carson Wentz is an overhyped Josh Rosen.
I don't think Josh Rosen got a fair shake of the league.
He was an asshole. That's why. Zach, do you know who Josh Rosen was?
No.
He was coming out of UCLA, and he probably should have been the top draft pick of that draft by stats.
Yeah.
But he was such a dick. He slipped to second round or third round, maybe.
Like that, yeah.
And then he made all kinds of comments about what he was going to do, and then I think he had fucking 5 concussions, and now he's selling insurance in California or something.
I mean, was he worse than Kellen Moore?
Well, Kellen, he played for fucking Boise State. This kid played for UCLA. Big difference.
I know, but Kellen Moore still played for the Dallas Cowboys, didn't he? And fucking fumbled the ball and then moved over to the sideline with a headset, and that's where he stayed. Yeah, I definitely like Commanders plus 11, but this is my gut feeling upset of the week here. I don't want and it's just maybe it's stemmed in my deep-seated hatred for the Eagles.
This one.
You're going to what?
I'll you on this one. The Eagles remind me of the Steelers from a couple years ago where they were just catching everybody at the backup quarterback. I don't know. I think they're due to lose a game. But they're coming off a bye week, right, too? Was the Eagles bye week last week?
They played Thursday.
Oh, they played Thursday. So it's a longer week. Yeah, no, I'm going to stay on that one. At least to cover the spread.
They're a good team, and I said it early on. They're an excellent team, but I don't think they're a perfect team. I don't think they're going to be the Shula's Dolphins. I don't think that, even if they do go 17-0 or whatever, I don't think they're the Super Bowl winners. They will lose this year.
I don't think they're going
to. They're going to lose a game, but this is not that game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel better if it was in Washington because it's a shithole dump. But weather could play a factor. We got a lot of weather coming through.
If they play into Washington and they have the sewage run right into the Eagles' locker room.
Yeah.
Just like empty the porta potties into Jalen Hurts' locker.
No, weather won't be a factor today. It's going to be 50 and
it's tomorrow.
50, 52. Oh,
it's tomorrow. It's Monday night.
Monday night. It's going to be cold. Cold like 30s but clear. So Kylan says if Jalen gets a case of the scares, it may happen. Which I call the streamers.
All right, so that's the week. Before next time we come back, the Thursday night game of next week's going to be the Titans and the Packers. Packers are playing in Lambeau again. I think my call on that comes off of how the Packers play the Cowboys today, but I really think the Titans win.
Yeah.
That's how fucked up is that I have more faith in the Titans to beat Green Bay at home than the Dallas Cowboys.
That's the Cowboys that's like their juju right there. Aaron Rodgers just had I'm serious. It's one of those things. If the Cowboys go out there and stomp it out of Green Bay today, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. It's just that weird. Like Favre was always good, but until they could beat the Cowboys, back.
All right. So that's a wrap up for the game today. You want to touch real quick on the running back question I have, or you guys got to bounce? I know we got take 10 minutes.
I'm good. So.
Okay. So I posed a question.
Before you hit on that question.
Yeah.
Before you hit on that question, is Highland ever on time?
I don't know.
Chris,
I don't deal with him ever.
Never on time. He's never on time.
What does that come from?
Me being early.
All right, I got you. I get you saying now. Okay, so this year, it appears to be, thus far, a year of the running back. A resurgence in dominant running backs, controlling the ball, scoring points, catching balls out of the backfield. Something like I don't think I've seen in a long time. Like back in, the Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders kind of time. The big difference now, though, is some 20-plus years later, there's been a death of the fullback. The fullback position just doesn't exist anymore. Teams don't even carry fullbacks. And a lot of teams have running back by committee, where they have two very strong backs, like Cowboys is thunder and lightning kind of thing. You have the short yardage Zeke and the slasher. I think Jerry Jones said it's like a hammer and a sword. You hammer it in with Zeke, and the sword you get cut with Pollard. So in the light of having a running back committee, it puts a lot of things up in the air of as far as fantasy. Who do I start? Who's going to get the most snaps today? Because someone can have a great day and not be the running back one. Who do you think are the top cream of the crop, the macho man, cream rises to the crop of the running backs this year in the NFL? And who is going to be crucial in winning your fantasy leagues coming down the road if they stay healthy? I mean, we still got weeks left where injuries can happen, but we're coming close. We only got a couple more weeks of regular season fantasy games, right? And then we're going to be in the playoffs. So who's your top, let's go top three. Who are the people that you love to watch run the ball, love to see score points on your fantasy team, and that you think are big game changers this year? We can start with Chris.
I think and not fantasy wise, I think the best duo is Zeke and
the best duo, I'd go Nick and Hunt.
They're good. They're very good. I just think with Zeke and Pollard, Zeke does things that Pollard can't, and Pollard's the explosive.
Yeah, Zeke's not explosive anymore.
No. I mean, he still has it in. He's not top end speed explosive that way.
Yeah.
But, like, he's a hell of a blocker. And Pollard cannot do that, right? The only reason I don't say this combination because one of them's not running back, and they run Debo out of the backfield.
Yeah, they really haven't done that a ton this year. Debo basically refuses to do that now.
Yeah.
But I would agree with that too.
As far as duos go. Fantasy points, Debo McCaffrey would be enough, but not out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Out of the backfield, Hunt and Chubb. Like Zeke will score. You get Zeke inside the 10, he's scoring.
Yeah.
He's a powerful. He does dude still. And he's out of the backfield. Pollard is weirdly a deep threat. He has long touchdown runs. You know, he has the breakability there. Other duos, there's not a lot of duos, really, I don't think.
No, the Jets had one in Breece Hall and Michael Carter.
Yeah.
Breece and Carter being that where he can catch passes, but he can still run the ball.
Yeah.
Breece being out, that's changed to Michael Carter, James Robinson, which is a lot less duo, but it's still solid.
How many other real?
There's not a ton of.
It doesn't have to be duos. I think we misunderstood the question. I said there are some people, there's some offenses that have chose to go with the duo and then have maybe hurt one person's stats more than they could have been if they ran normally. So like obvious thing is Nick Chubb, right? If Nick Chubb didn't have Kareem Hunt, how much better would Nick Chubb be? So, I mean, right now on the list that I posted, like who's the best, I got Christian McCaffrey, who doesn't have anybody else that really runs with him, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and then I threw Nick Chubb in there just because the numbers Chubb puts up with being almost a split time back. So out of those 5, and there may be other ones, who do you think is the top right now? Who would you, knowing now, and going back and redrafting your team, who would take first?
I'm still taking Eckler first. I had the first overall pick. I'm still taking Eckler. Eckler has so much upside just on the fact that he gets his balls out of the backfield and he still runs. So his attempts are honestly so far behind that he's not putting up the yardage that a Derrick Henry is, but it's what he makes up for in the passing game makes it worth it. The upside's there for him. So Eckler, out of the backfield, he has 98 rushing attempts, 427 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaging 4.4 yards a carry. Receiving, he has 60 receptions on 69 targets, 381 receiving yards with 4 touchdowns, averaging 6.3 yards a catch. That's huge.
It is huge.
That's huge. Where someone like Derrick Henry, he is going to smash the ball down your throat. Mm-hmm. He has 183 rushing attempts to 870 yards with 9 touchdowns for a 4.8 yard per carry. That's insane. That's monster number. Chubb is right there with his attempts and yardage, but Henry has 14 receptions on the year.
Right. Where Chubb
doesn't catch anything out of the backfield. That's Kareem Hunt's spot.
Yep.
Eckler has more of an upside for that alone.
And Zach is quiet. What's up?
I'm looking at some stuff here. So could we agree that the biggest bust this year is definitely Jonathan Taylor?
I wouldn't even say he's a bust. He's been hurt. You can't say he's a bust because he's been hurt.
He's a bust for fantasy.
Oh, for fantasy, sure. Coming off last year's perspective, absolutely. But that's part
he was everyone's projected RB1. He was the first pick in like 90-something% of fantasy drafts this year.
Yeah, you're right.
Correct, because he had such a good second half last season. that was what I was debating about, was going either Jonathan Taylor or Austin Eckler going to this season. And I chose Eckler over Taylor. I figured he was going to have a down year coming off what he did.
I just didn't expect their line to fall apart like that.
Their line has zero reason to be as bad as they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just looking right now as far as, is this projected?
You know Zeke's still over 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, they should keep feeding him the ball.
Yeah. He had one game that was like 2.9, but he was like more short yardage shit.
Yeah.
But he's still over, with that 2.9, he's still over 4.1 yards per carry.
Zeke's only played one game with Dak this year, and that was the first game.
Mm-hmm. Where they were terrible.
Yeah.
Where they were running the ball, and then they just stopped after like a half a quarter.
Keep rolling.
I know. And
so, yeah. So right now, I was just looking up, I was looking up who has what points so far of those I've listed. So right now, my dumbass who says Christian McCaffrey has a total of 219.3 points scored this year, fantasy-wise, in our league. It differs league to league based on points per reception, yards per rush. So in our league, CMC's 219.3. Then you got Saquon, 234.7. Then you have Eckler, 241.5. Then Chubb is 247.2, and Henry's 256.0. Now, some of these teams have had buys and others haven't, I guess. So you're missing a week worth of stats there. But they're all pretty close, right? I know Christian McCaffrey had a buy, Barkley had a buy, Eckler had a buy earlier. That's your fucking problem, Chris, is you have Eckler and Herbert, your two biggest people. And that bye week was terrible for you. And then when Herbert got hurt. Yeah, how did he do that week? Was it a Joey Burrow week where he's last year Joey, or when he fucking throws interceptions and gets sacks 37.5 times?
Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah, so that's what you get. I can't believe I won last week, though. I cannot believe I won last week. There's no way I should have won, and I don't know who won it for. Yeah, but like my entire fucking team, besides Patrick Mahomes and the kicker, was on bye. I had to pick up everybody off of waivers. It was terrible. It was the worst week I had, and I won. I was like, holy shit. But anyway, so that's good discussion on why you'd still pick Eckler 1. I like those points, and I would continue to and these guys are always people you want to look for, like with betting. Not just with fantasy, obviously, but with betting, their overs on their rushing yards, because they are consistent pretty much week to week with producing. These are the top 5 to me. They're excellent. I am shocked by Chubb's production splitting time, with as much as they do. I know he probably does get a lot more rushes, like you said. Hunt is more of the reception back and stuff like that, but the fact that he still puts up these numbers and splits time is just insane to me. Dude's incredible. Who do you think, who are some sleepers that can help win leagues? Who's somebody that's hey, they're getting better each week, or they're filling in for an injured person? Who's somebody you can look to pick up either off waivers or make a trade for to make a playoff run in your fantasy league?
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm 1-6 or 1-8.
That's why Chris is here.
For
me,
who's available.
For me, well, I mean, you can always, whether it's a waiver or a trade, there. Actually, no, it does depend on league because there's trade deadlines, right? We don't have one, do we? I know some people can't trade now. So for me, right now in our league, Travis Etienne is probably the one that I did not have my eye on the radar, and he's just gotten better and better each week. He's somebody I wish I could acquire.
Yeah, he's dropped week 2 because absolutely nothing in James Robinson was getting the ball. So I would agree on that. You're going to be paying a very high price for him. It's honestly, it's a toss up. If James Conner stays hurt, with the Cardinals, Benjamin's going to be solid in lieu of him playing. So we'll see.
But this is one of those things too. Like, when it comes time for, like, if you're managing a fantasy team or anything like that, I remember when we made that trade for Taylor and I gave up Hollywood Brown and Pollard. I feel like that trade fucking sucks for me right now. Like, I know Hollywood Brown got hurt like the week after, and I was like, whoo, dodged a bullet. But I think Pollard is actually like better in the second half of the season than Taylor is if he keeps getting hurt. So this is one of those positions where it's very dynamic throughout the year, I would say, just because you are like such a high risk for injury and to be sat out and to, miss a lot of games, high risk for season ending injuries, ACL tears and things like that. So to be able to adapt and pick up people and trade and move stuff, that's really the key, I think, to being a successful fantasy manager and not just leaving your players in when they're on a bye week. George. You fuck.
Hey, I'm making some moves. Easy.
I know you are.
I'm trying.
The week I said when I came in, like, I didn't expect to win a lot of games. I don't know shit about football this year, like the teams. But
I got 5 guys on bye this week.
Yeah. But I said the one thing I want to do is I want to beat Highland and I want to beat George, and they were the 2 hardest weeks I had with stacked teams. So thankfully he forgot to put somebody in and allowed me to win. But yeah, so I mean, I really dig this running back group that's coming through right now. They make the game exciting and fun to watch for me. My favorite kind of football is not West Coast offense. I love smash mouth football, run the ball, set up play action, and hard defense. So having these monsters in the backfield constantly running the ball and controlling the clock and changing the game, it's been very exciting to watch throughout, to bet on, to watch, just to enjoy the game of football. And it's very fun for me to be able to sit and talk with you guys about this, because for years, almost like a decade and a half, I watched nothing. And then finally I work a job where I'm surrounded by women. They don't typically like sports, but now I have some coworkers who like football, and it's fun to sit and talk with them. And to have people like you guys to talk on the weekend. So, Chris, for, inviting me to be the last player into your fantasy league. It's been very fun, and I hope to continue to talk about football all the way through to the Super Bowl. I mean, we probably won't do a Super Bowl show because the Blitz does a show, so I don't think there's any way you guys.
Well, we could because our show's Saturday night, so Sunday morning we could have a special Super Bowl edition.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
The Blitz show is Saturday night.
Yeah, but you do that live.
I do have to touch on this though. This team right here is playing for the league championship today. I've been riding with them all year. They've been doing it all year today. I hope they get it. It'll be the first ever in their league existence for the local league championship. We've talked here before that they've gone to. We did the national championship thing, won games down there, but the local league championship. Zach, I rode with him all year. Here it is. Today's the final day. That's where I got to be this morning. So it's going to be a good one. Should be a good one. And as always, fuck Red Hook.
The Seahawks and the Bucks have started their game. Seahawks and the Bucks started the game. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I ain't betting on it. I got enough money on the table this week. The only college game I bet this week, TCU Frogs came in, not only covered the spread, but won money line, beat Texas last night in Texas. I think they're 9, maybe 10-0 now. The Horned Frogs, not the Frogs. They've just had an excellent season, and I ride with they're my Outlaws. I ride with them every week. So Seahawks playing the Bucks right now, 0-0 in the first quarter. Hopefully the Bucks can come up and win by those 2 scores, like Chris said, and hopefully you got some information, you made some fantasy moves, and make a couple bets and win some money this week. Last week I had a good week. I posted the wins that we talked about. I was 2-1. So hopefully it keeps rolling to this week and we don't have another curse of the fucking week 8 because that was the worst. It was the fucking worst, man. All my money. Bucks are driving. So I think that's cool for the week unless you guys want anything else to say.
I got nothing. I got nothing, honestly.
All right.
Nothing for me. We'll be back next Sunday morning. There's no early game, so we don't have to be in a rush to be on at 8 a.m.
Sounds good to me.
You got to figure out a way to build an intro.
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
There's no way I'm getting an intro done. I just took a new job, and I'm doing my old job with the new job, and I'm working like 60 hours a week. So it ain't going to happen this week.
No
Maybe.
Excuses. No.
All right.
No excuses.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I don't. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm not getting it done.
We'll get it done. Fuck it. We'll do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. All right. So yeah, let's go watch some football.
Guys,
Football's
we'll see you next week.
Yep. All right. Later.
Take it easy.